Hey everyone, Todd Zacone here.
Jacob Zacone here.
And we're wanting to give everybody a race recap from this past weekend's Vegas to Reno. So as many of you may have seen, we've got some new graphics in the car where we're highlighting Phoenix Children's Hospital. This race is and continues to be very important to Jacob and I. So why Phoenix Children's Hospital is important to me, and I think to Jacob as well, is when Jacob was born, he was born with an undiagnosed heart condition, and basically from the first day of his life, he was rushed to Phoenix Children's for emergency surgery, and Phoenix Children's saved his life. So I have a lot to be grateful for, thankful for, and at the time, I didn't have the means to give back, and now I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to pay it forward and give back to such a great organization, a great hospital, who all they do is help children. So I'm very proud of what Jacob has done and what we have done as a team to help raise money for Phoenix Children's. So this was one of many things we're doing to raise money for Phoenix Children's Hospital. For this race, we had a goal set of $20,000 to raise for Phoenix Children's, and I'm happy to say we raised over $26,000 from all these great companies and individuals who were able to help us make this possible. So we're going to be doing some other things to raise money, and our goal by the end of the year is to raise over $100,000 for them. So I'll let Jacob take it over and kind of give a little bit of background to our prep going to Vegas to Reno, some trials and tribulations we had before the race, as well as some of the hurdles we ran into during the race.
So for this race, we went doing a full prep. We did new bushings, ball joints, new heims everywhere, a lot of new parts. We want to make sure we were 100% ready for this race and that we were going to finish this race. So we did a lot of testing and a lot of night testing, light testing. We did everything. And it was one of the last test sessions that we did. We realized we were having overheating issues. So when we came to that conclusion, we did everything we could to try and troubleshoot it, and nothing we did would work. So we decided Friday before the race that we were going to pull the motor, put a fresh 21 motor in with 20 miles on it. So me and Ulysses spent all night Friday night putting a new motor in, so we go test on Saturday. We went testing on Saturday. The problem was better, but it wasn't entirely fixed. But we figured we could run it anyways, so that's what we did. So the plan for this race was I was going to race the first half with my co-driver Brooke Demand, and then Dad was going to jump in and drive, and I was going to co-drive for him. So me and Brooke started the race about 4 miles off the start line. We started to overheat again. That's when we decided to pull over, let the car cool down, see what we could do to fix it. So we pulled the bumper lights off to try and get more airflow to the radiator. That helped a little bit, but it didn't help our problem overall. So we decided to limp it to the first pit and see if the team could troubleshoot it. Unfortunately, they couldn't troubleshoot it either, so we kept pushing. We pushed to pit 2, and they tried to troubleshoot it again with these coolant lines, seeing if they're, moving some of the lines would help cool the engine, see if we could get them in cooler spots. Make sure all the coolant lines were, in their proper positions, and making sure they weren't kinked or rubbing anywhere. So we got sent off again. We got to the transfer section. Dad and Rusty and Ulysses went to work to try and figure out what was wrong. Loaded the car on the trailer, and then we went through Tonopah through the transfer section. And we got to the next section and started our race again. The 45-mile-an-hour section for about 5 miles. Me and Brooke held 45 miles an hour, seeing if the temps would climb, and they did. Unfortunately, we started around 150, and we made our way up to 220 again. So after we realized that, we decided to take it easy. Go slow, go smooth, make it to the pits, and see what they can do. We keep pushing into the night, and as the air got cooler, so did the engine. Not fixing our problem, but we were able to do a little bit better. We pushed a little harder. Then we get to pit 8, which was Mina, where I got out of the driver's seat, got into the co-driver's seat, Brooke got out of the car, and Dad got into the driver's seat. And then I'll just let you talk about it.
So when I got into the car in Mina, the sun had already set. The ambient temperature had probably dropped 10 or 15 degrees from when we started the race, where it was in the high 90s, almost 100 degrees. And I knew that, cooler air was gonna, help with some of the cooling issues we were having. So I wanted to take it a little bit slow, plus my eyes had to adjust, and I had to kind of find a rhythm before I could really start pushing the car hard anyway. So, instantly when I got out of the car, something felt a little bit off in the rear suspension. So I wasn't really sure what was going on, if that was something that, has been there, all along that Jacob was just dealing with, or is this something new? So I had Jacob get out and make sure we didn't have a flat tire in the right rear, and everything was solid. For a quick glance that he did, everything seemed to be okay. Tires were, full of pressure, no problems. So we kept going, and the problem seemed to get a little bit worse and worse. And the right rear seemed to get looser and looser to the point where, I was really struggling to keep, the car going straight, and, couldn't maintain any sort of speed. So I pulled over and took a look, and at that point, the center rear radius rod on the right-hand side, one of the bolts had come loose, and that was the reason. That's the toe make, and that's the reason why the rear end was loose. So he and I we knew that we were just trying to finish the race at this point, but we were able to limp the car back to the next pit, which was Gab's, and they were able to put a new rear center radius rod bolt in, give us some fuel, and we were on our way. We were at a Gab's, and I was able to drive the car like we should have been able to drive it the whole time. So I was basically foot down, and we were carrying good pace, and from that point forward, we were able to maintain good speed. And it wasn't until we hit towards the end of the race, we hit some silt beds, did we have a couple of moments where it was a little questionable whether we were going to make it or not. There was a trophy light stuck in one of these really bad silt beds, and it took everything we had to power through it, power around them, and to get out of it without getting stuck ourselves. So other than that, we pushed on. We made it to the final pit, and from that point forward, it was basically the rocky section between pit 12 and the finish. And we took it easy, took it slow. We knew we wanted to finish, and we finished. We finished about 3:30 in the morning. Car's in one piece. We were in one piece, and things were good. And not giving up.
Never happened.
You know what? This is a tough race.
And everybody else who helped support us this race. It's been a rough one, but we're here.
So while our race day wasn't easy and we had a lot of hardships, I think we as a team realized while our day was hard, it's hard for these kids in the hospital every day, and they go through hardships, and they have rough days, and they have rough patches. That the reason our day was so tough was because it's so tough for the kids in the hospital, and we had to prove that we could make it through and that we could finish the race, and that's exactly what we did, and we did it for the kids.
I mean, racing in general isn't easy. A lot of things come up, and we have to kind of just deal with the fact that it's racing. But I was looking for the lesson here because we had no plans on. The car was ready. We were more ready than we were ever were for a race, and we got thrown some curveballs, and we had no plans on replacing an engine, no plans on completely rebuilding the cooling system and radiators and everything. And that's just part of the game. But the lesson is sometimes life isn't easy, and a lot of these kids are going through things that our problems are meaningless compared to what they're going through and what their families are going through. So for us to make a little bit of a difference and raise money for Phoenix Children's is a big deal to us. And I know Jacob and I both did everything for this race with a smile, and we knew that we were doing it for the kids.
And we didn't care how we finished; we just wanted to finish.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to get to do it with my son, and I'm really grateful for everybody who stepped up to support us in this endeavor. There's a lot of great companies that we work with, and a lot of individuals who really stepped up to the plate, and we're forever grateful. Thank you.